You missed it both times. Back. So, I mean, I hear it, but this one just drag lines. No, what's the wireless? So
check. See you, Donna B. I see you.
I have a couple of extra.
All the way across the whole room.
What's up, Al? Right. In that order, though. In that order. They don't want no smoke.
Yes, sir. How you feeling, man? All good, man. I'm so happy. Right.
The other way.
I know that.
Down a lot up.
Testing. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. We're going to call the Thornton Township Officers Electoral Board of the Cook County of State of Illinois to order. I will now, this is Friday, December 6th. Time is 10:14, and I will give it over to our attorney.
Thank you. At this time, we will be doing a roll call. The members of this electoral board do include Trustee Chris Gonzalez, Trustee Darlene Gray Everett, and Clerk Loretta Wells. Trustee Gonzalez is on the phone. Trustee Gonzalez, are you here and present? Okay. Member Darlene Gray Everett? And Member Wells?
Present.
Okay, we do have all members present and accounted for, and at this time, because Trustee Gonzalez is away for work, we do need a motion to allow him to attend electronically.
I make a motion to allow Trustee Gonzalez to participate via phone.
So is that a second on the motion then? So we've got a motion by Clerk Wells and a second by Darlene Gray Everett. Right, Trustee? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we also need to approve the electoral board rules. Copies of the rules were presented to all parties, and copies of the rules are available at the back table. So I do need a motion to approve the electoral board rules. Just the three of you.
I make a motion to approve the electoral board rules.
And we need a second, second by member Chris Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Whoever
We do have a member that's attending via phone, so we're trying to. Okay. Member Gray, microphone, please speak, just so that the court reporter can hear, so we can have an accurate transcript. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we are going to start calling the supervisor cases, and we do have 9 cases that we need to go through. I do ask if okay, we do have some appearance forms up here. And if we need to get more copies, maybe we will. Yeah, give all of those, and then if you can give us here, makes the additional copies. Yes, sir. Yes, that's fine. Yes, I have no problem with that. I do ask though, just so that if there's parties that are coming up.
Everybody needs a mic to speak through so the court reporter can hear you.
Hello? Okay, testing. So we're gonna call the cases in order. The first case up is 25 TOEB, Supervisor 01. And that is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Chris Clark. Is the objector here? Are the objectors here?
Right.
Okay, thank you. And is anybody here for the candidate, Chris Clark?
Yes, on behalf of Chris Clark, Attorney Kevin Sturd from Mansell Kley, if I could have leave to file my appearance.
Thank you. I do ask both parties to file their appearances with the board once they're done completing them and to exchange appearances with each other. Now, at this point, we do have to, before we get into the case, we are going to go through some preliminary matters and adopt some exhibits. The first exhibit, and these will be the same in all cases, but we have to do this with each case. First exhibit will be the nomination papers submitted by the candidate. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit B is going to be the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D are the rules. And Exhibit E will be the agenda. Just one moment. And Exhibit F will be any waivers of service that were filed in this matter. I do believe we have a waiver of service from the objectors. Okay, and candidates, you guys also submitted a waiver of service to Attorney Carrie Lynn Krafteffer, so those will be Exhibit F. Okay, objector, could you please tell us a little bit about this objection?
Basically, we are objecting to the fact that Mr. Christopher Clark filed as a slate and did not file the full slate that is required according to state statute. He was missing a clerk, highway commissioner, and assessor.
Okay, thank you for that summary. And Mr. Stirk, do you intend to file any sort of motions on this matter?
Yes, we intend on filing dispositive motions. We also will have a motion to consolidate with the objectors. They've objected to everybody that's been Mayor Clark's slate. So we're going to file a motion to consolidate. But I understand the board is comprised, it's going to be comprised of 2 different members. So maybe we'll just consolidate the trustees' cases and leave Mayor Clark's case separately.
Okay, when we get to that point, we can discuss that. But if the parties have no objection, if we do have all members of both electoral boards here at the same time at the next hearing, we potentially consolidate it for the purposes of oral argument so that the parties don't have to state their oral argument this, again, or twice. Objectors, you have something that you want to say?
Yes, as to consolidating all the cases, I do not believe that he has one trustee that has a different allegation against her, Korean Davis. I don't think that should be consolidated because it's a whole separate issue involved with that particular challenge.
If I can make a recommendation, we could consolidate them all for the purposes of the argument of the full slate item. And then as it relates to the additional objection on Ms. Korean Davis, which I believe is related to incompatible offices, we can have you guys argue that one separate. And this would just be for the case of judicial economy to keep these hearings moving and not have you guys have to do duplicative arguments. So, sure, understood, completely understood. So we will make note of that, and if we're able to get both sets of boards here at the same time for the next meeting, then we will go ahead and have all 4 board members sitting up here hearing the oral argument as it relates to the full slate requirement, unless there's an objection from the parties. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. How much time do you need, Mr. Stirk, to file your motion?
If we could have till, could we have till Monday?
Yes, and just so the board knows, we will probably not be able to come back until the just so the objector and, or objectors and the candidates council know, we will not be coming back probably until the 17th. So if that, you can take that into consideration in your briefing schedule. So if the parties need a little bit more time, we won't be back here until the 17th.
Sure, I think Monday will be fine for us.
Okay, so your brief will be due Monday, December 9th. And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, how much time would you like for a response?
48 hours should be sufficient.
Okay, so you'd like your response, and just for clarification, let's have Monday, December 9th at, is 5 PM good for the motion?
Yes.
Okay. And then the response would be due on 12/11, Wednesday, 12/11, also at 5 PM. And Mr. Stirk, how much time would you like leave for a reply? Is 24 hours okay for a reply?
24 hours is great.
Okay, great. Okay, so the reply will be due 12/12. And then we will come back here on the 17th. Let's do 10:30 if that is okay with the board. Or actually, let's do 10 AM. It's gonna be a long day. We're gonna have a lot of argument. So the briefing schedule is going to be, the motion to strike and dismiss is due on 12/9. The response is due on 12/11. The reply is due on 12/12, and I was suggesting that we come back for a hearing on the motion to strike and dismiss on 12/17 at 10 AM. If that works for the board.
Is there any way we could do it on 12/18?
My concern is that we're pushing, we're already kind of far out.
Sure.
Um,
We'll make 12/17 work.
okay. Does 12/17 work for the board? Member Gonzalez, does 12/17 work for you?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will continue this matter to 12/17 at 10 AM. And that works for the parties, right? I know Mr. Stark, you said you'll figure it out. You guys will get somebody from the firm to come. And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, that works for you as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this matter is continued until 12/17 AM. I'm sorry, 12/17 at 10 AM. Okay, there's nothing further to occur on this case, so we're now going to call the next case. So the next case is Nathaniel Fields, Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields. Good morning, thank you. Okay, so we will now have to go through the exhibits once again and just enter the exhibits into the record. Actually, I'm sorry, can we move back really quick and just do a quick motion to approve the exhibits for the 25 TOEB Sup 01?
Motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we're gonna move on to case number 25 TOEB Sup 02, and again, this is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields. Are the objectors present?
Present.
Okay, and is the candidate present?
Present.
Thank you all. And have the parties completed appearances? Okay. Mr. Fields, have you completed an appearance yet? We do have some extras. You want to step up and grab one? These were all included also in the objection packet that I believe was sent out. But we have extras, so if you can't find it, that's fine. Mr. Fields, you want to just come grab one from over here?
No, I have a copy.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I have a copy.
Okay, actually, so you're gonna need two, because you guys got exchange appearances.
Right.
So if you wanna grab another one, so that you can complete it, so you can give it to the other side, and then we'll need one for our records. Thank you. And for anybody else that's sitting in the crowd, just so you know that you do have to file an appearance for every case. Your appearance has to have your email address, because we serve everybody via email, because these are highly expedited proceedings. We can't wait for mail to actually get there. Okay. All right, so objectors, if you could give us the nature of the objection.
The objection in relation to Mr. Fields deals with the failure to identify office sought on a statement of interest. Furthermore, Mr. Fields turned in petitions as a Democrat for primary, then filed as an independent. And I have some issues with petitions not being bound properly, and also statement of candidacy, statement of political party affiliation being absent. So that's basically a breakdown of the objections.
Okay, my notes actually reflect that there, and maybe my notes are incorrect, but was there also an objection that the statement of economic interest receipt was not filed?
Correctly, yes.
That it wasn't filed correctly, or that it wasn't filed?
It wasn't filed
Okay. Let me just grab the petition.
with the proper authorities.
Got it. Okay, so I understand the nature of the objections. Mr. Fields, will you be filing any sort of dispositive motions? Any more motion to strike and dismiss or anything?
At the moment, no, I like to respond, at you guys make a determination.
So today is gonna be very preliminary. The board's not gonna be making any decisions today.
Okay,
So that's why, so if you want time to file a motion to strike and dismiss, for instance, if you dispute what they're saying,
I do.
then you can do it in writing, and you would still have the opportunity to argue it orally on the 17th.
Okay, on the 17th. Okay, then I do dispute what they're saying, and I would like to argue my case on the 17th.
Okay, would you like to also file a motion to strike and dismiss, or would you like leave to file it, and if you choose not to file it, then that's fine, you don't have to file it. But if you want to file a motion to strike and dismiss, I can give you the same briefing schedule that we just entered in the.
Now you just said leave, and repeat that the second time?
So basically, what I'm saying is that you're allowed to file a motion to strike and dismiss if you want.
Right, now
So-
strike and dismiss means dismiss their objection.
Correct. Right, so
Okay.
the way that this generally works is the case gets called, and if a party disputes what is being said in the objector's petition,
Mhm.
then the party has the opportunity to file some sort of motion to say the objector's wrong. And so that would be your opportunity to file a motion, and it's typically called a motion to strike or a motion to dismiss, or sometimes a motion to strike and dismiss.
Okay, well, I like to file a motion to strike and dismiss, and I appreciate the explanation.
You're welcome. So the motion to strike and dismiss would then be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. A response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And just, since everyone's pro se, Mr. Fields, you would be filing the motion to strike and dismiss. Your pleading would be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The other side's response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then if you choose to file a reply, which that's typically how it works. The movement gets the last word. The person that's making the motion generally gets the last word. So if you want that your last word in the form of a reply, you can file that on 12/12 by 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on 12/17 for a hearing. I'm just gonna set them all at 10 a.m. because I don't know how long the hearings are all gonna take, so I just encourage all the parties to be here at 10 a.m. Yes. Okay, we need to mark the exhibits really quick before we move this case along. The exhibits for this case, just like the other case, will be Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petitions. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waivers of service. And I believe, Mr. Fields, you sent in a waiver of service to the clerk? Oh, and Mr. Price and Smith, you guys both sent in waivers of service, correct? Thank you. Okay, there being nothing further with this case, we can move on to the next case. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize. A motion to approve the exhibits? Okay, so we have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member Darlene Gray Everett to approve the exhibits as stated. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. All right, calling the next case, which is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Sidney Moore.
Good morning, Honorable Electoral Board, Honorable Board members, and attorneys. My name is Jacob Avila-Molokowski, appearing on behalf of Attorney Frank Avila for candidate Sidney Moore.
And just for the record, real quick, actually, objectors, can you state your name real quick?
Keith Price.
Thank you. And just for the record, Mr. Avila is not an attorney. He is appearing on behalf of his father, who is in the hospital at the time. So he just asked if I could, Mr. Avila contacted me last night via email and asked for time to file a brief. So his son is here just to, I guess, make sure that that happens. He's not here in a per se representative capacity. He's just here on behalf of his dad to make sure that the process goes through. So do the parties have any objection to the briefing schedule that was set in the other cases?
I do not have a objection to the briefing schedule, although I do have an objection if Mr. Avila is not an attorney, he should not be allowed to sit, regardless of the circumstances. Under normal situations, that's not acceptable.
That's fair. We do have the candidate here. Could the candidate come sit at the table,
Thank
please?
you.
Okay, Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, Mr. Moore, I understand that your attorney is in the hospital, and he has requested a briefing schedule. So do the parties agree that, to the briefing schedule that we set in the other cases, where the briefs would be due on December 9th for the motion to strike and dismiss, response due on December 11th, and reply on December 12th, all at 5 p.m.?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we go ahead and set that briefing schedule. We will be back here again on December 17th at 10 a.m. And we will now go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, agenda. And Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Mr. Moore, do you know if your attorney, Mr. Avila, do you know whether he sent in a waiver of service? Okay, if you could speak with him, or son, if you could please send me a waiver of service when he has a moment, we can add that to the file. But you in fact were served, Mr. Moore, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we do have service and the party is present. That's the purpose, is just to make sure that everyone's here. All right, so we need a motion to approve the exhibits.
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Second.
We have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member and chair Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So this matter will be continued until December 17th at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, you're correct. Oh, yes, we have not having the attorney here, but Mr. Price, could you please very quickly state the nature of your objection?
In the case with Mr. Moore, We have multiple filings of nomination papers, which is prohibited. We have circulation restrictions that were violated, dealing with a circulator may not circulate petitions for an established party and an independent or new party candidate. That can be found in 10 ILCS 5/10-4. We also have attachments, I believe in Mr. Moore's case, of 160 pages where he was the circulator. And that's basically a breakdown of everything that the objections cover.
Thank you for that summary. Okay, there being nothing further as it relates to this objection, we will continue this, or I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Mr.
excuse
Moore,
me.
you want to make a statement?
Yeah, I just want to say that the attorney is asking, can he change the time of the appearance on the 17th, a little later that afternoon? Instead of 10 o'clock, a little later than that?
Like what time are you, we can push it towards the end of the supervisor call. But we gotta keep these cases moving, so what we could do is, the first case is gonna be called at 10 a.m. There's gonna be argument on that first case, so you've got 3 cases already before this case, or 2 cases already before this case. So what we could do is we could push this to the end of the supervisor call, so it'll come after, but I can't give an exact time, I would say probably maybe 11:30. But we're gonna set it for 10 a.m., but just have Mr. Avila communicate with me what time he's gonna be here, and we'll make it work, but I do wanna keep the supervisor cases grouped together, and then the trustee cases grouped together, with the caveat, of course, that we do have a motion to consolidate on some other cases that are gonna have some cases to all be argued.
Sounds good.
Some of them to be argued together.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay. Okay, the next case we are calling is DeMarcus Krigley versus Stafford Owens.
Good morning, Honorable Board.
Good morning, thank you. I will, 1 second, I'll see the contract. Okay, Mr. Krigley, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is DeMarcus Krigley, DeMarcus Krigley.
And you are the objector, correct?
I am the objector. Max Solomon will be the attorney on this one.
Okay, and he's not here today, but is he filing an appearance?
He will be filing an appearance.
Okay, and candidate, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Stafford Owens, STAFFORD
Okay, thank you, Melvin. Mr. Krigley, can you please briefly state the nature of your objection?
Yes, failure to identify office sought on the statement of economic interest.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, would you like to file any sort of dispositive motion, a motion to strike and dismiss, or something of that nature?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set it for the same briefing schedule that was read into the record earlier. I will go over the briefing schedule. Your motion to strike and dismiss, Mr. Owens, will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. Mr. Krigley, you or your attorney's response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply from you, Mr. Owens, would be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on December 17th. Technically, we're gonna notice it for 10 a.m., but again, there's gonna be some hearings before you, so.
I've been paying attention.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you guys have any other questions before I go through the exhibits?
No.
Okay, have the parties filed or written out appearances?
I'll file my appearance second here.
Okay, and have your attorney send us a copy of his appearance? And then Mr. Owens, we need you to file an appearance as well because we need everyone's email addresses and ways to contact you. So do you have appearances?
No, I haven't, but I received all my information through email from Ms. Wells.
Correct, but for the sake of, for a complete record, we require all parties to file appearances. So if you can fill out this document that you're gonna receive, fill out 2 copies of it, give one to your opponent, and then you need to give one to the board, please.
Okay. Also, where will we be, the attorney will be sending his appearance to?
To me, to me.
Okay, can I have your email address?
Absolutely. He has it, but I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Just for the record, in case anyone needs it, that's, party to these proceedings. My email address is Jaworski, JAWORSKI @dlglawgroup.com. And if you can also copy my associate on that, it's my associate to the left here, her name is Hannah Auten, AUTEN @dlglawgroup.com. Pardon me one moment. Okay, my apologies. Okay, so we've set a briefing schedule. Now we're gonna go through the exhibits, just like we did for the last one. I'll wait for Madam Clerk to return. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to read off the exhibits, and then when I am done, I will need a motion to approve. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, any waivers of service that either have been filed or will be filed. Can we have a motion to approve the exhibit list?
I make a motion to approve the exhibit list.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so thank you, parties. We're gonna move on to the next case. Okay, the next case we're calling is William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Nathaniel Fields. Then, Mr. Fields, if you could just state your name for the record.
My name is Nathaniel Fields, Jr.
Thank you. We do have an objection that was filed against your candidacy by the objectors previously stated. Objectors counsel, Mr. Stark, could you please give a brief summary of the objections?
Give me a moment.
No problem.
And for the record, Kevin Sturck from Ansel Glenn, if I could have leave to file my appearance. Our objection boils down to failure to state failure to file a statement of economic interest. And that summarizes it.
My read of the objection, when I read through it, I think it was actually that the wrong statement of economic interest was filed.
Thank you for the correction.
Okay, so basically it's a statement of economic interest issue. I believe there was also something in there stating that because the statement of economic interest was filed wrong, that the statement of candidacy is false and perjurous. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fields, I'm assuming that you would also like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
I actually like to state for the record that I did file the correct statement of economic interest. They must have missed it when they went through my petition nomination papers. But I do have copies if you guys would like copies of that.
Okay, well, that'll be part of your motion and part of your evidence that you'll submit at the hearing.
Okay.
When we come back on the 17th.
Okay.
So if you'd like an opportunity, just like any other case, to file a motion to dispute the allegations that they
I'll
put
file a
out
motion.
against you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so we will go ahead and do the same briefing schedule, which will be December 9th, 5 PM. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due. Responses will be due on December 11th at 5 PM, and that would be what you would file, Mr. Fields. I'm sorry, Mr. Fields, you would file the motion, I apologize, and Mr. Stark would be filing the response, and then Mr. Fields, you would have an opportunity to reply on 12/12 at 5 PM. You would come back here on 12/17, so the exact same briefing schedule that was set in your other case. And have the parties exchanged appearances? Okay, just make sure that the parties exchange appearances, and we will also need appearances given to us for the record. And then at this time, I'm going to read out the exhibits and ask for a motion to enter the exhibits and the exhibit listings to the record. Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I get a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so this matter will likewise be continued to 12/17. We're going to, as stated in the previous hearings, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m. But you are third or fourth on the call, so it'll be a little bit later, but the whole board is going to convene at 10 a.m. Mr. Quigley and Mr. Owens, we still need your appearances. Oh, okay, good, you're working on it? Okay, good. Okay. Thank you very much. My associate's just making sure we got all the documents we need, so. That's actually the waiver of service. Yeah, so that's the appearance one, the one that's on top? Okay. Yeah, that's what the appearance is. Okay, there being nothing further on this case, we will now move on to William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Stafford Owens. Then, Mr. Owens, can you state your name?
Stafford Owens.
Thank you. Mr. Stark, have the parties exchanged appearances? I know, Mr. Owens, you're working on your appearances, right? Okay, so just make sure that the parties, before you leave, give us copies of the appearances and exchange appearances with each other. Mr. Stark, can you briefly summarize the nature of the objections?
We were objecting to, it's like the signatures, just their standard objections of, A through E signature not genuine, signature, signer not registered at the address, signer outside the district, signed the petition more than once, and then of course my favorite column, other. We also have an objection to that he failed to file a statement of economic interest, that he doesn't have enough valid signatures, and he failed to file a received statement of economic interest, and that it was filed beyond the deadline.
So the statement of economic interest you're alleging was filed beyond the deadline with the clerk's office?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Owens, just like in the other case, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, so we will go ahead and set this for the same briefing schedule, which will be the motion to dismiss will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The response will be on December 11th at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then this hearing will be continued to December 17th at 10 a.m. At this time, I will go through the exhibits. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objectors' petitions. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to approve those exhibits? I've got a motion by trustee or member Darlene Gray Everett. Second. And a second by member Loretta Wells. All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. There being no further business at this time related to this case, we will see you back here on December 17th at 10 a.m. The case number for Stafford Owens is 25 TOEB 06, SUP 06. So we're actually running a little ahead of schedule, but if both parties are here, we can take the Owens case. And I do appreciate that we're running ahead of schedule.
You're so efficient.
I guess so. Okay, so calling the case of Valeria Stubs versus Stafford Owens, 25 TOEB, SUP 07. Do we have objector here?
Present.
Okay, sir, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jamin Avery, first name Jayman, last name Avery, A-E-B-R-Y, almost a Mercury Fraser McGrath. I am here on behalf of Steve Ladizinski, who is actually also. I do have appearances for me, and then we would ask Steve for Mr. Ladizinski to submit appearances thereafter.
Yes, that would not be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, obviously, can you state your name?
Stafford Owens.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Avery, can you please briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Owens?
Yes, in this case, there are several. We do have sheet and line numbers, so we would be requesting a record examination. There are also circulator issues. There's an alteration of petition sheets, and there's a lack of a statement of economic interest with relationship to the office sought.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Owens, just as in the other cases, would you like time to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll set it for the same briefing schedule, if that's okay with the parties. And that will be December 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss would be due. Any response to that motion would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply, December 12th at 5 p.m. And we will come back at 12:17. Again, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m. This is going to be further down in the call, but we're going to notice the meeting for 10 a.m. Any questions from the parties?
No.
Okay.
Who I tender my appearance to.
If you could give a copy of your appearance to Mr. Owens and as well as to us.
Yeah, you want me to walk up there with it, or wait?
Yes,
till
please.
my third case?
I know your third case is fine, unless you want the steps, of course.
I'll figure that out.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask the board to approve the list of exhibits. I'm going to go through them first. Exhibit A is the nomination papers. Exhibit B is the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D is the rules. Exhibit E is the agenda. And Exhibit F is waiver of service. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Got a motion by member Wells and a second by member Gray Everett. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Owens, just to let you know that this is obviously the last two cases you had, I should have said this in the earlier case. When there is a records examination, what's going to happen, I don't know if have you ever been through this before? Okay, so just for both the edification of you and the edification of the public, we will then send out a notice or a request rather to the Cook County Clerk's office and ask the Cook County Clerk to set this matter for a records examination. They will then give us a date and time. There is no flexibility on that, there's no, can we reschedule it and do it another day? It's whatever they give us, that's what we have to go with. And they do include Saturdays as well as Sundays, I believe, for these records examinations. So what will happen is you will then have to go to the records examination. It will still proceed if you are not there. So if any party does not attend a records examination, the records examination still will go forward. And the Cook County Clerk's Office employee will be the judge of whether the signature is valid or invalid, whether the objection should be sustained for any of the reasons that the signature line was objected to. So that could include, that the candidate, or I'm sorry, that the signer is not registered or any of the other nature of the objections that were filed. It's very important to keep an eye on your email because these can get set, we can get a notification today at 5 p.m. for a records examination tomorrow at 12. That wouldn't happen in this case because we haven't sent the request yet. But I just want you to know it's a very expedited proceeding, and so please keep a close eye on your email. As soon as we find out when the records exam is going to be scheduled, we will email the parties. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions, thank you. Okay, we're gonna call the next case. We're running a little ahead of schedule, but we have all parties here, so if nobody objects, we will go ahead and call that case. We've got Sheila Ashley versus Nate Fields. That's up to you. If you want to bring it up now, that's fine. Thank you. And this is case 25 TOEB, Supervisor 08. Can the parties state their name for the record?
Again, Jamin Avery on behalf of the objector, standing in for Stephen Ladizinski, who filed the objector's petition. I can spell my name, Jayman, first name, last name Avery, A-V-E-R-Y, Olson, Murphy, Fraser, McGrath is the law.
Thank you. And Mr. Fields?
Nathaniel Fields Jr.
Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you please briefly state the nature of the objections that you filed against Mr. Fields?
Yes, here there are two major ones. One is there is no statement of economic interest with respect to the office sought that was filed, and there is an inconsistent offices sought issue, and then there's also a filing period violation because of the inconsistent office.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Fields, just like in the other cases, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss? If you could use the microphone too, so that the court reporter can pick everything.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will go ahead and set the same briefing schedule, which will be a motion to dismiss due on 12/9 at 5 p.m. A response due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. Reply due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And then we will come back here on 12/17, again at 10 a.m. technically, but this case might be called a little further down just because of it's where it comes in the call. But you've got other cases, so you'll be here. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and go through the exhibits again. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Got a motion from Member Wells and a second from Member Kley Everett to approve the exhibits. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then I just asked the parties, they've already tendered their appearances, so we're good. Anything else from the parties on this case? Okay, great.
No.
All right, moving on. And Mr. Moore is still here? Oh, perfect. So calling the next case, which is Sheila Ashley versus Sydney Moore, 25 TOEB, Sup. 09. And objector, can you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Jamin Avery, first name Jayman, last name Avery, Avery, Olson Murphy Fraser McGrath Law Firm. On behalf of the objector and also standing in for attorney Steve Ladizinski, we would also seek leave for Mr. Ladizinski to file his appearance as necessary.
That's no problem.
I do have one for you.
Thank you.
I may want to, yeah.
Thank you. And Mr. Moore, do you have, Mr. Moore, can you just state your name for the record?
Yeah, Sydney Moore.
Thank you. And do you have an appearance to tender to Mr. Avery?
Yeah, we already gave it.
Perfect. And then we will also need one brought up here when you guys are, when you have a moment. Oh, we already have it? Okay, we already have it. Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Moore?
Yes, we have a couple. There were circulation for two different offices, supervisor and trustee. There was an improper filing of the nomination papers, both for as an independent candidate and as a Democratic candidate, and therefore there is also an improper circulation of this independent paper.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Moore, I'm assuming based on, and I forgot to state this earlier, Mr. Avery, Mr. Moore is represented by counsel. His attorney is Frank Avila,
Yes.
who is unfortunately in the hospital right now, so he was not able to be here. Mr. Avila did contact me last night to let me know that he was unable to attend. He did request that a briefing schedule be set. And so we will hear this case along with the other case against Mr. Moore at the end of the call, because Mr. Avila, I believe, has conflicts on the morning of the 17th, so it'll be a little bit more towards the end of the call. And so, you know, just wanted to let you know that, and thank you for the no objection on the record. So at this time then, we are going to go through the exhibits. And the exhibits are the Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of services, or waivers of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits as stated? I've got a motion by member Darlene Gray Everett and a second by member Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, so that is it for the supervisor cases.
Well, I got it.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's something else you wanted to say, Mr. Moore?
Yes, I need copies of the objections digitally or paper copies for this case with Sheila Ashley and for the previous case.
They should have been served on you, but I'm sure that the clerk's office can get you copies if
And
you just.
recaptions, if possible. Recaptions. I've never received copies of those. Yeah. I didn't receive. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's fine, you can have copies of that, that's no problem. So for both cases against you, you
Yes.
need them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you just sit tight, we're actually done with the supervisor cases, so this electoral board will now do a,
Can you hang on 1 second?
hold on. Yeah. I believe we did set the brief, I think you're right. I don't think we discussed the briefing schedule. Thank you. Just been doing this so many times on repetition. Okay, so the briefing schedule will be the same as all the other cases, and that'll be 12-9 at 5 p.m. for the brief, for the motion to strike and dismiss. The response will be due on 12-11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on 12-12 at 5 p.m., and we will come back here on 12-17. Technically, it'll be noticed for 10 a.m., but your cases will be at the end of the call, at the end of the supervisor call.
That's correct.
Understood, thank you.
Okay, no problem. And so if you just sit tight, we'll get you copies of what you requested.
All right, sounds good.
So at this time, I am going to ask that this electoral board do a motion to recess, and then we're going to seat the other electoral board. Recess.
I make a motion that we recess.
We've got a motion to recess from Member Wells and a second from Member Gonzalez. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. So we're going to take a 10-minute break and seat the other electoral board for the trustee cases. And just so everybody knows, statutorily, that board is composed of the supervisor, the township clerk, and the longest sitting trustee. So that means Supervisor Tiffany Henry will be on that board, Clerk Loretta Wells is on that board, and Trustee Darlene Gray Everett is on that board. So we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we'll be back here shortly. Thank you.
Up and down. That's took all your views. It's all love. I appreciate you. I'm glad to have you as a friend, bro. I ain't got many good friends in my life. Authentic friends. That's real. One of those, four-quarter type moves.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm working on this.
That middle, thing straight forward to the right. All right, fam. You always do it on time.
You're just trying to help your dad. I get it. You're welcome. I would still stay here just because your dad's not here. So I would recommend staying here for a little while. No. I want to talk about
At the end of the speech, he said, eat cake and be merry. He said, eat cake and be merry. On his speech, he said, eat the food and be merry. Oh, yeah. That was crazy.
How you doing, man? All right. Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, good.
I'm Mayor Stubs.
Oh, okay.
We're wondering if we can get your comment on the police chief. I know his policy about after today.
Oh, it's not, but we're gonna do an actual press conference.
When's that?
I don't know. When I got a list, I'm gonna call and let me know.
Okay.
Then I just call you. 'Cause I know, I talked to, what's his name?
Mark last night?
Yep.
Yep, okay, all
So
right.
I'm cool.
So no coming out of it today then?
Just not today. Just once they get situated, then we'll just call you.
Okay, all right, sounds good, thank you.
You welcome.
So I was asking Mr. if you were making any comments today.
No, he was asking about another situation.
Okay.
And I told him that ain't getting addressed today.
Okay.
But we're gonna do something, but it'll be like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you take any questions about what's going on today?
Yeah, just, this just the everyday, I don't know if you know how the process goes. Well, we have
Yeah.
electoral board, it's just that my name the hottest thing, everybody record everything,
Right.
But
I mean,
nothing.
can we ask you some questions?
Yeah, well, we're gonna start, so when I get on, I'll come over. Or if you got something in particular you want me to answer, you just wanna know what we do.
No, I understand. I mean, I have an understanding of the
Yeah.
process, is, but I do have a couple of questions just, in terms of what's been going on the last couple of days.
I've been doing interviews.
I know, but they got the same story today too.
Oh, it's alright, but y'all got footage from me.
That's just how it works. But I mean, if we could get you, like,
Yeah, let me go up here first, and then I'll come to you right after. Okay. Now you want what's your name? Jewel. Okay, nice meeting you.
This remind me of my sister. It's a little nice. But, make it go in.
consensus when I say, hey, we're not objecting. Technically, everybody's home. Yeah, filling out your insurances.
Well, yeah, exactly.
'93, '87, '81, '70, '61. All right.
Back to work.
Yeah. Nice to meet you or see you again.
Karen, Gary, Carol, just like your mother. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a barely ever they present.
Something's got a hold on me lately, though I don't know myself anymore. Seems like the walls are all closing in, and the devil's knocking on my door. Whoa, whoa. I don't mind how many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone. It's taking a toll on me.
I have to say, as the attorney for the Electoral Board, first of all,
Problem is,
I have to say, in all the electoral boards I've ever worked at and done, I've never had somebody sing, so I appreciate that. All right, is everybody ready to resume? Okay, can I have a motion to reopen the electoral board meeting for Thornton Township? Motion. Motion made by Supervisor Henyard. Yes, second. Second by Member Darlene Gray Everett. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carried. We are back in session at 11:33 a.m. And we will now be going through the trustee cases. The first case we will be calling is case number 25, TOEB, Trustee 01. That is the case of Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Corey and Davis. Yes, thank you very much. And objectors, can you please state your names for the record?
Michael Smith.
Keith Price.
Thank you very much. And objectors, if you could please briefly state the nature of your objections against candidate Korea Davis.
In the case of Korean Davis, the first thing that we have is that the party failed to nominate or put in their party a clerk, township assessor, and highway commissioner. The other thing that we have is that it's incompatibility of offices. Ms. Korean Davis filed for school district, school board member, as well as she filed for trustee, which is clearly incompatible.
Okay, so the nature of your objection is a failure to have a full slate and incompatible offices, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. And candidates council, Mr. Stark, are you intending to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes, that's correct. We also have a, just for our record, motion to consolidate this with trustee cases for this whole thing is
Okay, thank you. And if the court reporter wasn't able to hear that, the candidates council has requested a motion to strike and dismiss briefing schedule, as well as a motion to consolidate this case with Jacinda Goldston and Dominique Randall L., as well as possibly the Chris Clark case for the supervisor, and that's Sup 01, for the purposes of oral argument.
I'm sorry for not using the microphone. I just was worried that it would be so hot after Mr. Price is singing.
It's not even the same mic.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and set the same briefing schedule, just to keep everything nice and uniform. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And a reply will be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. For these trustee cases, it would be my suggestion for the board that, as it relates to the time that we're going to come back, as the board knows, we have the supervisor cases all at 10 a.m. I'm going to still have this on the agenda as a 10 a.m. call, but more than likely, these cases will not be called until around noon. So is that both parties will be here regardless, because both parties have cases both in the supervisor and trustee timeframes. So I'll just keep it at 10 a.m., but the parties can know that this case will probably be called a little bit later. Now, as it relates to the motion to consolidate, it would be my advice to the board to allow for the motion to consolidate, with the exception of the singular issue related to Korean Davis for her alleged incompatible offices. And the reason I suggest that is honestly for the purposes of judicial economy. I don't think the board wants to hear the same argument over and over again, and I believe that the board would probably prefer to hear the argument once and make the decision based on hearing the argument once from each side rather than hearing it 4 separate times. So it would be my suggestion to consolidate the cases for the purposes of oral argument. There would still be separate decisions issued on each case, but for the purposes of oral argument, I would suggest consolidating case number 25 TOB Sup 01, 25 TOB Trustee 01, 25 TOB Trustee 02, and 25 TOB Trustee 05. And again, this would be for the purpose of oral argument related to the full slate issue only. Does the board have any thoughts on that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the consolidation of cases Sup 01, Trustee 01, Trustee 02, and Trustee 05 for the purposes of oral argument related to the full slate issue? Oh, and 03 too, I'm sorry, thank you.
I make a motion that we consolidate cases 25 Sup 01, Trustee 01, Trustee 02, Trustee 03, Trustee 05.
Second. And just for clarification, that's for the purposes of oral argument related to the full slate issue, correct? Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We do have a motion by Member Wells and a second by Chair Henyard. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So those cases will be consolidated for the purposes of oral argument as it relates to the full slate issue. One question I do have for the parties. Do the parties want to argue that under the supervisor case, and meaning do you want to argue that first at 10 a.m. on the 17th?
We'll defer to the board on what you think would be the, what's
Do
easiest.
you guys have any preference?
I actually don't have a preference. Most of the challenges were straight up the same, with the exception of
Correct.
So I have no problem. These schedules probably a little earlier than mine, so I would want to do it something.
Yeah, if we could do that together, that'd be great.
Yeah, so my thought is that you guys would argue the issue at 10 a.m. and then, you know, later on, because you guys are gonna be here most of the day anyways, later on, you guys can then argue the Korean Davis issue when we get to her case in the call. But we'll argue, you guys can argue the full slate issue under the supervisor's case.
That's what I'm.
Okay, all right, perfect. Is that agreeable to the board? Yes. Okay, thank you. All right, so at this time, we're going to go ahead and mark exhibits like we did in the other cases, but before I do that, I forgot, did the parties exchange appearances yet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And appearances have been filed with the board?
Yes, there will be.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go through the exhibit list again. The first exhibit is Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I get a motion to accept those exhibits into the record?
Motion. Second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Chair Henyard and a second by Member Wells. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, thank you. And we're going to move on now to 25 TOEB 04. That is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Felisa Melvin. Now, this is a case where Ms. Melvin's attorney is also Frank Avila. And as stated earlier, he did reach out to us to inform us that he is in fact in the hospital right now. His son did come here to observe and make sure that the briefing schedule is set. Ms. Melvin was not able to be here today, but her attorney was intending to come, if not for the issue as it relates to him being in the hospital. So it would be my suggestion, he has requested a briefing schedule. So it would be my suggestion for the board to allow for the briefing schedule unless the parties have any objection to that.
I personally would like to object. She should have been here, and as we know, the representation was here, but cannot represent her as an attorney. I would like to move to remove her from the April 1st ballot.
I've spoken with Mr. Avila
Thank you. I spoke with Mr. Avila, and I'd be willing to step up on his behalf and enter a file our appearance if I could have leave to, or if Mr. Avila can have leave to file his appearance at a later date.
My recommendation to the board would be, in the interest of fairness, you know, sometimes things come up with these cases, they do move very quickly. And I would recommend the board to allow for the briefing schedule and allow for the limited appearance of Mr. Stirk for the purposes of representing Ms. Melvin today, to allow for the setting of the briefing schedule and to allow for the entering of the appearance of Mr. Avila. Does the board have any objection?
I object.
Ms. Gray Everett, do you have any?
I object.
Well, Ms. Stirk has offered to file an appearance, and candidates, so he will file an appearance on behalf of the candidate. And Mr. Avila can then substitute in later So I don't think that's, it really is my recommendation that the appearance be allowed to be filed and the briefing schedule be set.
I'm good with it.
Yes, yeah, so he should, yeah, so if Mr. Stirk is filing an appearance, then she is considered here. The question was more so to allow for the setting of the briefing schedule without Mr. Avila here, but if Mr. Stirk is willing to file his appearance on behalf of Ms. Melvin, that appearance should be allowed to be entered.
What are the rules?
The rules are that the parties can either appear via themselves or via an attorney, and Mr. Stirk is here to appear for her, because her attorney cannot be here.
From where I just heard it before we got into all of this, you guys said that the person had to be here, meaning the candidate and or their lawyer. Neither one is here, and that's why I said I object.
But Mr. Stirk has now represented that he will appear on behalf of her as her lawyer for the purposes of today's proceedings.
All right, anybody else can change theirs, but I'm still objecting.
Okay. Okay, so we have two members, so just to be clear, Member Gray Everett, you're okay with Mr. Stirk appearing on behalf of Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, Mr. Stirk, if you can either, if you're gonna continue on with the representation of Ms. Melvin, the briefing schedule will be as stated previously, or if Mr. Avila is gonna enter an appearance, if he can send us a copy of that appearance, that would be appreciated. The motion to dismiss will be due on 12/9 at 5 p.m. The response will be due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And we will again be back here on 12/17 at 10 a.m.
So you are appearing as the attorney, you're going to make the arguments for the case? So should I tender my appearance?
You should tender your appearance
Yes, you
to
can give me your
him,
appearance.
but Mr. Avila may substitute in or file an additional appearance. A candidate or an objector is obviously allowed to have as many attorneys represent them as they want. So as of right now, we do have an appearance from Mr. Stirk that's going to be pending, that's going to be given to us. And I'm assuming that Mr. Avila at some point will file his own appearance and be here arguing it, or maybe they make an agreement and Mr. Stirk ends up arguing the case. But that's going to be between the candidate and her counsel. Okay, the next case up, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta do the exhibits, I apologize. The exhibits are Exhibit A, the nomination papers, Exhibit B, the objector's petition, Exhibit C, the call, Exhibit D, the rules, Exhibit E, the agenda. Hello? Sorry, the microphone went off for a second. Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to accept those exhibits into the record? Motion made by Chair Henyard, and a second is made by Member Darlene Kley Everett. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Yes.
Do we talk about the case now or no?
Oh, I apologize. We kind of just jumped into it because of the whole appearance issue. Yes, if you could, please, objectors, can you give us a quick summary of what the nature of the objections are against Ms. Felisa Melvin?
Ms. Melvin violated the election code by submitting multiple sets of nominating petition papers for the same office. One set was submitted as a Democratic candidate for the February 25th, 2025 primary, and the other was for an independent candidate for the consolidated election to be held on April the 1st. The next thing is Ms. Melvin submitted nomination petitions as the Democratic candidate for a primary to be held on February the 25th, 2025, in which she was the circulator of 116 pages. She also submitted nomination petitions, 101 pages as an independent candidate for the consolidated general election to be held April the 1st, 2025. She also circulated all 101 pages. This is a clear violation of 10 ILCS 5/10-4 and renders the petitions invalid. Secondly, I wanted to note in the objection, the clerk sent a letter letting the candidate know that she would not put their names on the ballot for either elections. That is marked as an exhibit, and we wanted to put that on for the record.
Okay, thank you very much for summarizing that. And,
Excuse me, Attorney,
yes,
can he specify when you said either election, so the public will understand what you're saying?
So the candidate submitted for primary election for February the 25th. The clerk acknowledged and accepted their petitions and then sent out a letter from her office stating that she would not put their names on the ballot for either the April 1st election as well as the February. She would not certify their names for the ballot. And she never withdrew her petitions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so as stated earlier, we have set a briefing schedule in this matter, so the parties will go ahead and brief that. And then we will be back here on 12/17, and again, we're gonna notice it for 10 a.m., but this case will probably be called later on, because it's lower down on the list. Thank you.
That was case number 02, correct?
04,
04?
yeah, 25 TOEB 04. And just for the record, as it relates to case numbers TOEB 02, 03, and 05, we are going to technically skip calling those because all the parties are here. They're all represented by counsel. We've got the motion to consolidate as it relates to those issues. So we're gonna move on. Now the next case is William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Felisa Melvin. 25 TOEB, Trustee 06. And again, this is a situation where Mr. Avila is the attorney for Ms. Melvin. He is currently in the hospital. He has contacted us, and it is my understanding that Objectors Council has no objection to Mr. Avila's request for a briefing schedule. Is that correct?
That's correct. And for the record, Kevin Sturk, STERK of Ansel Link. If I could have leave to file my appearance on behalf of the objectors.
Thank you. And, you know, I do acknowledge that obviously in the case prior, you were essentially representing Ms. Melvin as it relates to getting the briefing schedule and ensuring that the objection was not dismissed, and in this case, you were actually representing the objector, correct?
Yes, that's in my own individual capacity, not the law firm of Ansel Link.
Okay, great, got it. And just to clarify, these are two separate cases, two separate sets of objections, and two separate sets of parties. So, Mr. Sturk, could you please state the nature of the objection?
We're objecting to the there's an issue with the signatures on her nomination papers. And she lacks the minimum number of validly collected signatures, which I believe after a records check will establish that.
Okay, so at this time, we will need to set this matter for a records examination. So, Mr. Sturk, you are very aware of the process, which we will contact the county clerk's office. We will request a records examination. Once we determine when the records examination is going to be, we will send notice to the parties, and the parties will need to attend. There are no continuances on this. They will need to have however many representatives the clerk's office allows them to have. And then we will come back here sometime after that and review the results of the records examination. In the meantime, I do know that Mr. Avila has requested a briefing schedule, to which you have stated on the record that you have no objection. Can you just restate that?
Yes, we have no objection to the setting of briefing schedule.
Okay, and you have no objection to Mr. Avila not being able to be here today in person, correct?
That's correct, I have no objection.
Okay, thank you. If it would please the board, I would recommend the same briefing schedule, which is a motion to dismiss being filed on December 9th at 5 p.m. A response on December 11th at 5 p.m. and reply on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then we would come back here again on December 17th. Again, we would notice it at 10 a.m. It would probably be later on in the day just because of all the other cases that are coming before it. Is the board okay with that? Okay.
I got a question.
Yes,
I want to
ma'am.
make sure that I just witnessed what I just witnessed. The same lawyer here is the same lawyer challenging the young lady that he just stood up for?
He is simply,
They don't make no
in the other case, he simply filed a limited appearance for the purpose of essentially a professional courtesy to another election attorney who could not be here due to being in the hospital.
But then on the other hand, you're trying to kick off the battle.
It's two separate cases. That would be an issue that would
So
be
why would he be
an issue for
allowed-
the candidate if
It'd
she
be
wanted
an-
to.
Right.
So hold on, why would he be allowed to step in to defend her on one end and then the other end try to remove her from the battle?
And that's a good question with the, I mean, it's a conflict of interest. I can see what you're asking about that. So I'm just filing a limited appearance on behalf of Ms. Melvin in the 04 case. It's simply to allow Mr. Avila, who's a colleague, very well-respected colleague, who's dealing with a personal issue, an opportunity that there's no default entered against his client. And then he would have to come in and file a motion to vacate the default, I believe. So just for the sake of judicial economy, one of our favorite phrases, to keep the cases moving, because I know it's an expedited manner, and having to avoid just that extra step, that's why I'm stepping up for him. And also doing it individually so that, as I understand, my firm is representing a series of other parties that are appearing before the Electoral Board. So I'm not jeopardizing my firm's ability to potentially be conflicted out from representing anybody.
But just for the record, I'm against what just happened. I don't think you should be on one end representing her and then on the other end trying to knock off the battle. I do believe that's a conflict of interest, so I don't want to vote on that.
Okay.
Okay, and if I can just explain further, I feel that the limited representation of Mr. Sturk, of Ms. Melvin in the prior case, in the 04 case, was, again, simply to provide a professional courtesy to a colleague who is dealing with a personal matter, being in the hospital, and did reach out to me last night asking if this board could enter a briefing schedule, but that was opposed because she was not here. So it was more of a professional courtesy, and it is my recommendation that the board accept the briefing schedule that was stated, allow this case to move on, and otherwise we're going to be coming back on various motions to vacate to vaults, or Mr. Avila may take that up to the circuit court, and then we're going to be back there, and then probably get remanded back here. So for the sake of moving things along on this very expedited matter, it is my recommendation that the board accept this briefing schedule.
Mr. Avalon requests, Mr. Stubs, take on.
Yes, Mr. Avila reached out, or Mr. Sturk, I believe, reached out to Mr. Avila after what happened in the first case, that Mr. Avila's son tried to basically step up for him just to say, my dad's in the hospital and he's wanting a briefing schedule. And so Mr. Sturk, my understanding, Mr. Sturk, if you could verify this, he either reached out to Mr. Avila or Mr. Avila reached out to him, and as a professional courtesy, he has agreed to step up. And again, this is purely a professional courtesy so that we can move these cases along.
That's correct. I reached out to Mr. Avila. I initiated the contact to let him know what was going on.
Okay. All right, so it is my recommendation that, these are two separate cases. If you want, we can go back and recall the 04 case, or we can set the briefing schedule for this one.
I'm okay, so we can move forward.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set the briefing schedule then. The briefing schedule will be the same as stated in the other cases. At this time, we will go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A is the nomination papers. Exhibit B is the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to accept those exhibits into the record?
I make a motion to accept the exhibits.
I need a second for the exhibits. We need a second for the exhibits.
So moved.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Wells and a second by Member Darlene Gray Everett to accept the exhibits into the record. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. You oppose the exhibits, Madam Chair? Okay. Okay, calling the next case, let's see, we did place Melvin. Sheila Ashley versus Corey and Davis.
Good afternoon, I believe it is. Jay Davis for objector.
Thank you, and candidate?
On behalf of the candidate, Kevin Sturk, STERK, Vincent Link, if I could have the front of my appearance.
Yes, you may, and Mr. Avery, I'm assuming you're also seeking to file your appearance?
Yes.
Okay, and the parties will exchange appearances as well as file them with the board. Okay, Mr. Avery, if you could briefly summarize the nature of the objections that you have against Ms. Felisa Melvin. I'm sorry, not Felisa Melvin, Curry and Davis.
Yes. As to Ms. Davis, she is seeking incompatible offices during the same election cycle, which is not allowed.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Sturk, are you seeking to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we will go ahead and set the same briefing schedule. That will be 12:09, 5 p.m. for a motion to strike and dismiss, 12:11 at 5 p.m. for a response, 12:12 at 5 p.m. for a reply. And then this matter will be set for hearing on 12/17. Again, it'll be noticed at 10 a.m. However, the hearing might not be called until later on in the day, just depending on how the other hearings go. Do the parties have any questions on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. And at this time, I will ask for a motion to accept the exhibits. I will read the exhibits into the record. So Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to accept those exhibits into the record?
I make a motion.
Second. Okay, I've got a motion by Member Wells and a second by Chair Henyard. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. And then the last case is case number 25, TOEB, Trustee 08, and that is Sheila Ashley versus Felisa Melvin. Objector, can you please state your name for the record? Thank you. And then as it relates to Melvin, as I had stated previously, Mr. Avila is in the hospital. He did reach out to me last night, requested that a briefing schedule will be set. He does intend to file a motion to strike and dismiss. This would typically be a professional courtesy that we would extend to him. And I wanted to know from Mr. Avery, do you have any objection to setting a briefing schedule for Mr. Avila to file a motion to strike and dismiss, even though he is not able to be here physically today? Okay, thank you. Can you state that into the microphone?
No objection.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, we'll do the same briefing schedule, which is 12:09 at 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due. The response will be due at 12:11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due at 12:12 at 5 p.m. And this matter will again be set for hearing on 12/17 at 10 a.m. Again, it'll probably be heard a little bit later on in the day because the supervisor cases will go first and then the trustee cases after that. Do the parties have any questions? Or does the party, okay.
No.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'm gonna read the exhibits into the record and then I'll ask for a motion to approve the exhibits. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to accept those exhibits into the record?
Make a motion.
Okay, got a motion made by by Member Wells and a second by Chair Henyer. All in favor? Motion carries. So at this time, there is no further business before this electoral board. I commend everybody for getting us through this pretty quickly with a very heavy call. So at this time, I will ask for a motion to recess this matter to 12/17, December 17th at 10 a.m. So moved. Oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk is correct. We do have a public comment agenda item. We do have to call for public comment. Do we have any members of the public that would like to make any public comment before we close the meeting? Okay, there being no members of the public stepping up to the podium for public comment, I will ask for a motion to recess this matter until December 17th at 10 a.m. So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you guys for all your support. Vision, Burgundy Food, Conscious, Donna B, God King Conscious, Potato Gaming was in the house. Appreciate y'all's support. Messi Mashawn, your woke Christian. God bless you. We will resume on 12/17 at 10 a.m. That'll be the hearing. Mark that on your calendars. Check in with Reality Check TV Chicago, and we'll be recording live. Once again, we appreciate everybody's support. Please hit the like button on the way out, and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. We also do ministry, spiritual service Sundays on Sunday evening, every Sunday evening at 8:30 p.m. We do an hour sermon, and our Topic now is actions that would send one to hell.
And the main topic is
It's up for all lives in 2024 and beyond. Appreciate y'all. God be safe. May God bless you and keep you. May his peace smile upon you. Never give up, Doc.
Say what?
Never give up.
Never, man.
10 toes. If we can do 136 likes, I appreciate that. Please hit that like button. There's 136 people in. That'll help send this video out to people's feed. It's a free way to support the channel. Okay, we got 113. Just 137, that's all. That's all I'm asking for. 24 more likes. 23 likes. That's all. Appreciate everybody. More likes, just 18 more likes. Come on. Hey, sis. Bless you, man. All right. Hey, Steph. Good to see you. You be camouflaged in this jacket. Oh, I appreciate that. Give me a shout out. Type it in. Type it in.
You know what? Because a lot of times I'm sitting in front of my TV.
Oh, okay.
So you be
So you can't.
church on Sunday.
Okay. Well, 8:30. If I'm not on by 8:30, I'll be on before 9. So it'd be in between. Sometimes I'll be tired right after church. So I lay down and then boom, I have to wake up at 8:20 and I ain't got no time to study. None. I just cut the camera on and go for it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got you.
Absolutely.
Yes, much respect.
All right. Thank you, sis. 10 more likes. 10 more. 6 more likes and we good. 6 more likes. More likes. And if y'all can, please don't forget to get the cash up. Support the channel. All donations go to those that are in need, those that are less fortunate. Three more likes and we out of here.
We got some improvements to make, you know. We definitely got some improvements.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but I do have a YouTube, but it's
We're shooting each other. Trump Major, we coming back December 17th at 10 a.m. That will be the hearing for the Electoral Board meeting, Thornton Township. We'll be back. Okay, Doc. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. Thank you, Don Vision. All the news networks. Miss Melody from the Lansing Journal, always on point. Sweet young lady. Critical Smoker, give a shout out. Got Channel 2, Channel 9, Channel 7. Keith.
Good to see
Y'all,
you.
yeah. How y'all doing? All right. Appreciate you, Dion. Appreciate you, man. Big shout out. Wow. Okay. Okay, we headed for the press conference. Don't leave, y'all. We headed to the press conference. You gonna set it up? All right, sis. Hey. All right. All right, family.
Oh, it's all right, you just grab it. Our camera's working. Pardon me?
No.
being an objector. I am a duly qualified registered voter here in Thornton Township, a taxpayer, and as my objection says, I want to see that the process is followed legally. That's why I submitted objections. I submit objections every election cycle. This is not the first time, but to throw a punch at the supervisor, I find very critical or funny. Napoleon Harris as well has filed objections as well against these candidates and used people to do it on his behalf, as well as Christopher Clark, who's also a candidate for supervisor. I don't know who's feeding the media the information, but let's just put it all out there. They have put individuals out to challenge candidates. The supervisor at no point asked me to put forth a challenge. I did my due diligence. I requested every person that submitted their nomination papers for whatever office they were seeking. I got them. I did my due diligence in looking through each nomination paper, and I filed my objection. As stated before, I think we ought to stick to the facts of the whole matter. We have individuals that are running for office that are not qualified. Mr. Napoleon Harris is not a duly qualified resident in Thornton Township. I think those are some of the issues that I would ask the media to look into. He is a Flossmoor resident and have been for several years.
I just have, another question. On December the 17th, when the board meets again, will the decision be made? What's the process that will take place then? On the 17th?
I pray that they show up to the board meeting, because right now, we don't have insurance. So I hope it don't take that long to have a meeting. I will continue to call special board meetings so that we can clear up our issues, so that our staff and our residents can have the resources they need to succeed. So I will be calling up meeting next week. They're not paying attention. They're just trying to wear down the clock as it relates to the appointment for the trustee. That's it. All right. Price.
Good afternoon, everyone. As it relates to challenges, this is nothing new for me. I've been doing challenges in Illinois for many years. It's a part of the process. When you run for office, it tells you in the candidate's guide you should seek legal advice. So when people make major flaws on their paperwork, that's their mistake, not ours. If this was an NFL game, since we refer to Napoleon, if this was an NFL game and there was only 2 seconds left and you call a timeout, you're on the 50-yard line, but you got a kicker that can kick and win that game from you from that distance, that's what you do. It's part of the process. So I think there's a lot more pressing issues than this process, especially at Thornton Township. We've had people put out misinformation on social media stating that they've called in to do it wasn't a phone call. How was it worded? No, they called it something else, a consent to vote for insurance. We passed out information yesterday to all the news stations that showed the emails from the attorneys, which specifically said that you cannot do it, it's illegal, you must be in person. None of the news stations aired that. And we gave the actual emails that came from the law offices that represent the township. So the misinformation is being put out. I think that's some of the things that we're trying to focus on. So any questions you have, we can ask.
Just to confirm your chief price, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have an official title with the township?
Well, I assist Ms. Henry, Supervisor Henry, and I'm the manager of the Thornton Township Food Pantry.
And do you feel confident with the objections you guys made today that those will stand on the 17th for the workers?
I don't usually file objections for this. I don't do it. When I file objections, it's because major flaws in paperwork, so I feel very confident. Actually, 2 people are going already that never even got called because of major flaws. So I don't just put in shotgun challenges. I put in good, thorough check challenges.
Appreciate it, take care.
Did you have a question for me, sir?
Yeah, we'd like to talk to you next group.
Thank you. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Start with your first and last name and what you're running for.
My name is Nate Fields Jr. I'm running for Thornton Township Supervisor.
And just kind of give us your thoughts on what happened today. I believe you were objected to, was it from 3 different positions?
Yes, I was objected to on 3 separate occasions. Might seem major to others, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. One of the objections were that I did not file my economic statement of interest, but I did file. I think the objectors missed it because the paperwork was at the back of my nomination papers instead of filed at the beginning like everyone else's. So that's one thing that's going to end up getting thrown out. The other few are very minor.
Nick, why are you, tell us why you're running for supervisor.
Well, I know better, and when you know better, you do better. I've worked for Thornton Township for almost 15 years already, so I'm not new to the process. Anybody that's been involved in Thornton Township, they pretty much know who I am. I'm 33. I want to put that on record because a lot of people say I look 12. But yeah, I've been a resident out here for probably about 20 years. This is on 81st and Vernon. I'm in Chicago, but after that moved, I went to school at Thornton, South Suburban College. Actually, Thornton Township was my first job in the lawn care business, the ZAP program. But I've worked in almost every department in Thornton Township. Okay. So the passing of my godfather, Frank Zuccarelli, I feel like it's instilled in me to do the right thing within Thornton Township, and I like to continue my service for the township of Thornton. That's what I'm here to do. So I'm not here to fight with nobody. I know that's common in politics. Like a boxing match, we're supposed to be mad at each other and then shake hands and do the right thing for each other afterwards. But I'm not here to fight. I'm here to do what's right.
What do you think about the state that this township is in, and what Henry's administration has done over the last few years?
Well, things happen for a reason. I do think that the state needs a lot of improvement. It's unfortunate that certain things are transpiring before our eyes, but we do know that it won't be forever. So we just got some work to do. And I'm really glad that the people are stepping up now because a lot more residents are getting involved in this upcoming election. So that's what we need right here in the township and townships all over the state of Illinois.
Is there anything you learned from your time with Frank Zuccarelli that you will carry with you into your administration?
Well, compassion, and there's a lot, I wish I could sum it up, but at the end of the day, we have to learn to work together and figure out a solution that works for all of us. Now, we don't need the whole pie, but as long as everybody can get just a piece, that's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? At least something out of it. Something for everyone. But pushing people away and this, that, and the third. I run as an independent candidate. Previous experience has been with Democratic parties, but I think that there shouldn't be any division. I think that choosing a specific side is kind of like divisive. So I do believe that just dealing with politics with Zuccarelli, kind of talking to kind of keep the balance. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
No.
Yeah.
very, very vocally involved in all of
So y'all have a good day,
my
man. Appreciate y'all coming back.
municipal government. I want to see that our community is doing well. And under his vision, he's done a great job, fantastic job. And I support 100%. Thank you.
What kind of business?
Thank everybody for
Thank
coming
you all.
out. Y'all all enjoy y'all day, please. And I encourage everybody to do a research on the finances at Thornton Township and how they have increased.
Okay, because the fiscal year ended in February, and I had heard that those reports were typically posted by June.
Yeah, I'm sure they have them. I'll check into that.
Okay, if I send you another email, can you
Yeah, I'll
help
check
look
into
into that for me? Okay, because it'd be great to look at that compared to the past ones.
I think when she swore in fiscal year 2022.
All right, y'all, that's it. The press conference. We'll see y'all on the 17th, 10 a.m. All right, God bless everyone. Appreciate all my mods. Choose compassion, down vision, conscious, burgundy blue, God King's consciousness. Donna B is in the building. Wanda Fisher, drum major, audit watcher, I see Sandra, Dion. Appreciate y'all checking in. God bless.